Colombia's quest for peace has been long, painful, and complex. Despite historic strides, the dream of a unified, peaceful nation remains elusive. Today we dive into President Gustavo Petro's ambitious Paz Total, a bold strategy to end decades of conflict. Is it a visionary roadmap or a dangerous gamble? Let's uncover the truth behind the headlines. Colombia's civil war spans over 6 decades, leaving 450,000 dead and millions displaced. In 2016, then-President Juan Manuel Santos brokered a groundbreaking peace deal with the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or FARC. The agreement earned Santos a Nobel Peace Prize, but its implementation fell short, leaving gaps for other armed groups to flourish. Historical context. From the Marxist-Leninist ELN to criminal syndicates like Clan del Golfo, Colombia's fragmented armed groups have deep roots in both ideology and profit-driven criminal enterprises, especially cocaine trafficking. These groups thrive in the power vacuums left by ineffective state control. Fast forward to 2022, Gustavo Petro, a former guerrilla-turned-president, takes office with a sweeping promise of total peace. His plan? Simultaneous negotiations with political insurgents, criminal gangs, and urban militias, a move unprecedented in Colombian history. Geopolitical context. Petro's strategy was aimed at avoiding the piecemeal disarmament seen with FARC. Instead, he sought collective negotiations to ensure no group could exploit the disarmament of another. This approach, however, hinges on trust, something both the Colombian government and armed groups are short on. Despite initial optimism, Paz Total has faltered. Ceasefires with groups like ELN and Clan del Golfo have collapsed. Kidnappings, extortions, and territorial expansions by armed groups have surged. Over 8.4 million Colombians now live under the shadow of these groups, a staggering 70% more than in 2021. One critical failure has been the government's inability to enforce ceasefires. Without military pressure, an essential factor during FARC negotiations, armed groups have little incentive to compromise. As one former ELN negotiator put it, nowadays the carrot is very big and the stick very small. Contrast this with the successful Northern Ireland peace process, where the UK government maintained military operations alongside negotiations. In Colombia, the lack of coordinated military strategy has allowed groups to regroup and expand. The economic incentives for peace are another stumbling block. Armed groups generate billions from cocaine and human trafficking. In comparison, what can the government offer? Even political groups like ELN are deeply enmeshed in criminal networks. For groups like Clan del Golfo, classified as criminal rather than political, Petro's government faces legal roadblocks in negotiating reduced sentences or asset retention. Until the global war on drugs is re-evaluated, Colombia's armed groups will continue to find profit in conflict, rendering peace efforts an uphill battle. President Petro has just 18 months left in office. With Paz Total losing public favor, 2/3 of Colombians view it negatively, time is running out. A future administration could easily abandon the initiative, leaving Colombia trapped in its cycle of violence. To salvage his vision, Petro needs quick, tangible victories. This means building trust, strengthening military coordination, and addressing the root economic drivers of conflict. Without these measures, Paz Total risks becoming another chapter in Colombia's long history of failed peace attempts. For millions of Colombians like Zenaida Basto, whose son was kidnapped by ELN, peace isn't an abstract goal, it's a desperate hope. The stakes couldn't be higher. Will Colombia finally achieve the peace it has long sought, or will the dream remain just out of reach? What do you think about Colombia's Paz Total initiative? Can peace be achieved through negotiation, or is a tougher stance needed? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into global conflicts.